Does that see now? Just a second, guys. I am making my camera work. Um, remove, add video capture device. Yes, I will say NVIDIA graph. Hello. Oh, that is too big. Fine, doesn't really matter, but let's see. Is good? Yes, that is good. Hi guys, welcome back to my series of making this library management system using FastAPI. I'm gonna hand code this stuff. Of course, I'm gonna take a little help of ChatGPT, but just to know the concepts, right? We're just gonna know the concepts. We are not gonna copy. We're not gonna let AI replace us. Situation now. But hey, we are doing this project really nice. We have yesterday what we have done was we have added fine table. We have added fine table. We have added a fine route. The fine route actually what it deals with is actually fine that users accumulate over time, or they're not returning things that they are supposed to in a given time. That is a big problem. So what I was writing was this, I was writing in this in this patch function, the patch request. Um, so what in borrow, what I'm trying to do in this patch is borrow slash update returned on is if a user comes with his book that he has taken before, that we have lent him a book. Let's say we have lent a book called H.C. Verma, right? User A took that H.C. Verma book and is coming to us to give it back. So we have to update the return on date. So when we hit this route, what happens is the return on gets updated automatically to that specific copy. To that specific copy. All right, that makes sense. And what we're gonna do is also check the file. See whether this specific transaction, when returned, we're gonna check whether it has exceeded the time limit, right? Whether it has exceeded the time limit. How are we gonna do that? If trans dot reduced on returned on is greater than trans dot before, the transaction का जो before है उससे ज़्यादा है तो if it's more than that, then we're going to calculate the amount of fine. That's what I was trying to do. Key, there should be a mathematical function to this. So what I'm trying to do here is to find the difference between the returned on and trans before. So before से ज़्यादा returned on है ना? मतलब it took too much time. So we are figuring out how much time has he exceeded first off. And also, as in the example that we have used here, written down is like 45 seconds. Matlab, the time limit is 45 seconds, right? The time limit is 45 seconds. I'm just taking minutes as the unit here. Matlab, for every minute that has, that has exceeded, that has like run out, we're gonna do something. We're gonna, let's say, mm, we're gonna make 2 rupees for every minute that matlab, a minute is too less of a time, but for our use case I'm just trying to use it in minutes. You can simply change after that, right? So difference diff is trans dot return on minus trans dot before, and difference in minutes is this diff dot seconds, matlab kitne seconds it has exceeded divided by 60, of course. It makes sense. And A is the amount. Now with that amount, we can update the fine table. the models.find में we're gonna send the transaction ID that we are dealing with right now and the amount that it has exceeded and the reason for it. Of course, it's late fee reason because late not the reason is late return. This would make more sense. Also, and also, what do we say? So we are trying to add this. So f db dot commit db dot refresh. And I want to return these two. Right, all right. Let me open my API doc. Let me check this route. This is cloudy up until now. I don't know why sun has come again. Bro, it is so freaking hot here. I don't think I can live anymore. This is our route, right? Slash borrow. I don't think we have the prefix. So slash borrow slash what is this? Um, Update return now, right? Now copy this, paste it, and to run this, I just have to send the CID as a query variable, which I will do in a minute after running the server, of course. That's the reason so I should run the server. There we go. There are no problems as of now. I have run the server. I'll go here and add a parameter CID. I must say this is an integer. So I must say CID which copy, right? For that, let me check my PG admin table. I have to open that to Pro. Because I need to see the models, right? Until uh, until then, I'll be right back with more thumbs up. I'll close the freaking door. I'll be right back. Guys, I am back. I am back, guys. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Right. There we go. Do we yes. Now we have the PC admin table. Let me show you guys. So this is the borrow history, right? Uh, right. First off, let us ignore this guy, this transaction. Cause can I delete this row? Yeah, I don't wanna delete this row. This yes. Okay. Why didn't Alt Shift delete? Alt Shift D. Changes detected. Yes, that is what I want essentially. Execute script. Data has been modified but not saved. Okay, I have to save it before I do it. Save results to file. No, no, not just save. Save data changes. Alright. Alright. We got two transactions in our borrow history. Alright. And no one has returned the book as of now. So let's say copy ID 17. The ID 17 is being returned now. The ID 17 is being returned. So let's write 1 7 here and let us hit the route and let's see what happens. Method not allowed. Okay. What have I done here? 405 method not allowed. Okay. First off, let me just refresh it like this, and also let me check my main. Do I have the okay borrow history? Do I have everything in check? The at the end of the day, return as alright. Slash borrow. Am I hitting the route correctly? I guess I am hitting the route correctly. Method not allowed. Man, this is the same thing that I got before too, right? What was the reason? And this, uh, the reason, this I know. Method not allowed means usually means that the URL exists, but uh, I am using a wrong HTTP method. Say iterate post. Okay. Can't I for in a patch. Okay. I'm sorry. That is my bad. That is so bad. Bro, this has to be patch, right? What the hell? There we go. Internal server. Thank God, something that I know. Key. This is related to the server itself. So there it is. Int, not callable. Def dot seconds. What is not called? Okay, this is. Oh my God, why did I do this? Dot seconds is an attribute. It's not a method, so you can't have brackets. It's not a callable. All right. This should up and run the server again. Detail. Hey, there isn't a copy with that CID that hasn't been returned. What do you mean, bro? What do you mean? We got a copy like that. Am I? Yeah. CID is this. Makes it. Let me save the changes up. All right. Oh, what is this time? 6, 8, 11, 13, 48. Bro, bro. Let me send another request. Internal server error. another internal server error. Insert into find parameters trans ID, status false, date return, mount 1076, trans ID background, okay, amount. Column amount of relation find does not exist. Of relation find does not exist. What do you mean? There is a column, right? Named amount. Let's see the find table here, right? Let us open our table from local Postgres and we'll see whether we have that or not. All right. Okay. What happened here is I have a I have this old version of the find table here. I have to drop this right now. This is gonna, yeah, drop this. And what I want to do is run the main again. Should I run the main again? Yeah, I'll run the main. I'll kill all the terminals. I'll wait for the environment variables to start. There we go. All right, the server is up and running. So that should create the table in here. But I don't know, bro. Let's ask ChatGPT in Postgres. In Postgres, after adding a table, how do I see the changes reflect without rerunning Postgres again? I actually did that. Create all is what I did, as you can see it in my let me one thing. Thank God, thank God. I don't think it reflects right here. Maybe I need to do a little. I think I can see it here, but I still see it right here. See, now it has trans ID and fine amount region, and all that. All right, let me hit the server again. I sir, and this guy says there isn't a copy with that CID. What do you mean there isn't a copy with that CID? I do have that, right? Hello, let's rerun Postgres again. Postman. I'm sorry, my bad. PG admin cancel. PG admin. Bro, I don't want you. Right. Now everything's connected. Now that everything's connected, local Postgres, we got three databases, and in them, FastAPI, yeah, library. We got a C for tables. Let's see how many tables we got. We got 4 tables again. Thank God. And let me open borrow history table and rerun it. Execute this one. Continue. There is a problem. I think I have a code problem because these are getting added. Written down is getting added. Uh, I think I have to delete all of these instances. Also, I'll go and view this, and I see nothing is getting added here. So let me go back to my code and let me check what the hell did I even write. Hmm. First off, I have this doubt. When will the session object get closed? Will it get will DB get closed after committing? Because if that's the case, that might be the reason this is not running. Yeah, this edition is not running, right? Because if trans is none, you raise this exception. It's not none actually. Then you go to these. Let me figure that out. When will the DB close close run? After DB dot commit or after the function return? Route runs, then this runs, and this happens. Control finally goes back to the dependency and finally execute. Okay, the commit runs and then the return and then the close. All right. So let me read the code again. So what is this code trying to say to me? Bro, we have browser history table and we will see a copy ID. We'll match the copy ID there, EID there, and we will see whether it's returned or not. First off, let me add, borrow book. Let's add borrow book. Before that, let's see get books, get all books. I wanna hit the route, and I can see copy ID 6. I wanna take copy ID 6. Borrow book, copy ID 6, and user ID. What should I keep the user ID as? User ID 4 and 8 already have taken a book. Let's say user ID get users 2, because 4 and 8 took something, so I'm gonna say 2. So borrow a book, user ID 2. Now let me send this. Alright, the return down is null here, and now it is length on this before this, and I should wait a minute. I will wait a solid 1 minute. After that, I'm gonna move ahead and I'll check this function again, right? And one of the things that I'm seeing right here is q is default query run model browse history, and what I'm trying to do is get the CID and match the CID with copy ID, and also I'll see return on is none. I'll do both of those things, and trans is, and the transaction that obeys this key, copy ID should match the CID, and return on should be none. This is our thing. If this if if there is already a return on, if there already a return on, you say ki bhai, there if this turns out to be false, there isn't a copy that has been written with that CID, that hasn't been written. मतलब there is a copy, I mean our CID, ఆ CID తో కాపీ అవైలబుల్గా ఉంది అని అంటున్నాం, because it has been written before. Now we will make this as now first of all, and we will say ki bhai, are we doing this correctly? We are updating the return on, and we'll add the thing, we'll do this, and oh my god, this might just be the reason, bro. Refresh, CRANS. We rough. Refresh is one of those things that I keep forgetting, and it's like a pivotal thing. And oh my god, has it been a minute? Let us give another 30 seconds, and after this let me write, or else let's wait. Let's just wait. 41. I'll wait until 27, right? Another 15 minutes. 15 seconds, sorry. Yes. All right. Great. Let's hit the root and we'll see what's the problem. The CID shall be what? Let me see it directly in the process table. So its CID is 6. Copy ID 6. I must send this. All right. There we go. There we go. The amount is 6. That I don't know. That I don't know why. That I genuinely don't know why it came out to be 6. But hey, it's not nothing, at least. It's not nothing. The status is false, late return, the amount is 6, the fine ID is 1, and the trans ID is 4. So I'm gonna go back to the borrow history and I'll see the trans ID 4, and I'm gonna check length on is this before. Okay, I'm gonna execute the script. I'll copy this. I'll copy this, and I will go to this online Python compiler or whatever this thing is. Say, I'm gonna paste it right here. And what is M we got, sir? The M that we got was from the table. This is the key. Before you should have given before this. N minus M. N minus M. N minus M. Alright, N minus M. What I want you to do is to find the difference between M and N. M and N in second. Hopefully this should run. Error. Are not permitted. Okay. Okay. What if I take these off? Genuinely, second thing. Alright, this is giving me some error, cause it is basically, this is not a logic problem, right? This is mostly the notational problem, cause the data type of this is a little different. Of storing the time is a little different. I have to work on that. And also an idea that I got, and a problem that I have figured is, what if someone has no fine? What if someone fails this if condition? Do we still return F? Matlab, we shouldn't be returning F first off. So return something like message, find and borrow table updated, right? I mean, I'll work on this. I will work on what I should be returning. The first thing that I want to do right now, my concentration, my main concentration is this: the returned on, and can we somehow you know do this minus correctly? So return on, what is the data type of return on? I'll go to my models and I'll see कि return on का data type क्या है? Timestamp. Timestamp, time zone. With the time zone true, that is the problem. Uh, I'll go to ChatGPT and I'll ask कि whether whether we can subtract time this data type. Yes, absolutely. Borrow dot buffer. So delta is that. Delta is okay. You can do that. Is that so? Hmm. I'll do one thing. I'll do one thing. Not I'll do. I will get what is 2 minutes 51 seconds. 2 minutes 86. 2.86 minutes should have been our answer, but it turned out to be okay. 2.86 times. Let's open the calc. What it is? 2.86. Oh my God, not camera. Calc. So 2.86 times 2 is something that I've 5.72, right? 5.72. So it turned out to be 6. Okay, that was not bad. It is giving us the correct answers. It is giving us the correct answers. Okay. Okay. So this is working. Surprisingly. Wow. Uh, so let's verify it with ChatGPT just cause I am a little doubtful about this. So let me just ask ChatGPT whether I've written this correctly or not. This is correct. Logic looks pretty good overall. A few things that okay, is none is something that I should be using. All right, don't add an object you queried is unnecessary. You can just commit and refresh. All right, I will do the sir. Use total seconds. Ignores days. Right. Example for that. Okay, what is total seconds? I should figure that out. What is this? How do we use total seconds? How do we use it? I mean, it's like a new function to me, bro. Duh. Okay, difference is b minus a. All right, converts the whole thing into seconds. So it's gonna convert the whole thing into total seconds. All right. So this guy's saying, कि भाई, def dot total per second. Is it a function? Yeah, that is seems like a function. Great. why not I do this? Then print t dot seconds. Okay. Uh-huh. The only leftover seconds part. That I don't want. I want total time, total seconds. All right. Now it makes sense. Makes better sense. Mm-hmm. Great, 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 great. Hmm. All right. I have now successfully wrote a really complicated fine method in our libraries management system. I'm kind of proud of myself and ChatGPT because you use ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT. So ChatGPT really clever. ChatGPT. Oh my god. So this too is hard coded by the way. Hard coded code add well here the fine thing is hard coded well. So when we want to change it into days, it's not a really big thing, right? You you still have total seconds, and we can just say divide by 60 times 60 for minutes per days. We can do 60 times 60 times 60, matlab divide by 3600 or something like that. I don't really uh, remember the count, but yeah, we get the idea. We get the idea कि भाई ऐसा करते हैं. And also I was saying कि what should I return? Should I return the if trans is none, this will raise, so I can return the trans object. But if this fails, there is no f, so I can never return f, right? I can never return f because f is something. Because f is a thing. F is a object that is made in the condition. So I don't think I can do that. So I can just say trans if I really want to return a object. If you really want to return an object, so I can do that. I can return trans. All right. Now this is a picture perfect, great. Uh, you know, uh, uh, updating returned on and adds fine method. Trivially, let me ask ChatGPT, what could a better name for this function be? Because the name is too long. I don't want to. You're talking about put the above function that finds an active or mark calculation. I would consider written book. Yeah, written book is a nice. This is probably the best choice. The caller doesn't care about. Hmm? Or process written. Yeah, process written is kind of professional. I'm do that. Because what is that name, bro? Update, written down, and add a fine. Nah, process. In processing written, we have adding the fine also. We have this, bro. Shabaz, I think I've done really good job, right? Drink some water. Now, what we can do is now here I don't really need to add other fine. Add other fine. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Cause like we would want to add some other fines. Uh, cause as we have discussed it before, cause we can have damage fines. We can have some other fines. So for those types of fines, I would want something like um, you know a path operation where where the admin actually adds the fine. So how will I add? What should I take? I should actually take the CID, of course, the copy that I am adding the fine onto. And Q is debug query, borrow history, dot filter, model, borrow history, written on is not none. मतलब जो actually written down है मतलब a book that has been returned and what I'm no from a take this off because this has been taken care of. We have written a function before that is actually dealing with this stuff, so forget about it. So what do we want here? Add another fines. For that, what I want is, sir, I want is the copy ID should be the same as the CID that we receive. All right, that the admin types in, right? Makes sense, totally. And that just brings out the transaction. All right, that just brings out the transaction. We don't care if it's returned or not, or do we? Do we care if the book has been returned or not? Uh, Not really, right? Not really. What do we do, sir? What do you do? When returning, when do we? So an idea arises कि whether adding other fines should also be done after returning the book. After returning, so we are getting the transaction. We are getting a row CID from the borrow table, right? The borrow table, and will it break the system if I hit this route before hitting the return on process return वाला जो अभी मैंने था. Hmm. I'm sorry. So what was I doing? Add another fines. So how is our fine table, by the way? I open my database and I'll see the fine table. We can associate a transaction with a file regardless of it being returned or not, right? A transaction is getting that identity of a fine here. So I don't think it matters. Hmm. What am I thinking here? What I want to do is add other fines to transactions. What I am thinking is, what I'm thinking is, so a transaction is okay, bro. I can just do this, bro. Why am I thinking so much? So what I thought was, कि भाई अभी won't it be a problem? But I am associating a transaction with a fine, not a book with a fine. It's a transaction with a fine. So I don't think it's a problem. Trans.q all. No, I don't want that. No, q all. Trans. First, I want to know the first row, first transaction that matches with that. But the same copy ID, there are thousands of. Then, then. How about the admin? Give me the transaction ID itself. That would be the most easiest way that we can resolve this problem. If admin should know what transaction that is adding on to, or else the whole thing becomes a huge getting the word. The whole thing becomes a huge problem, right? I guess. So what I can take in is TID, transaction ID. Then it would be really easy कि भाई कौन सा ट्रांजैक्शन को अपडेट करना चाह रहा है तो what transaction do you want to update here EID because the admin should know the which transaction that he is adding on to, and to get to know the transaction from okay, hear me out. This is the problem. Hmm, this is a very specific problem. I don't even know what the fuck is happening, but in my thought, just hear me out, right? You have two tables that we are trying to tend to. We have two tables, and we just wrote this thing called processor return. All right, which is a borrow slash processor is the route of it. Borrow slash processor return. What will it do, sir? If you give me a CID, what I will do is I will return it, and I will also file the fine, late fee fine if there is any, late fee fine if there is any. So then what happens is, let's say we have copy number 10, and the transaction that is associated with it is 10 is associated with transaction 2. Let's say transaction 2, copy, right? All right. And this इसका जो returned on है, जो returned on column will be filed when processed. So this will become the time now. Time if अभी जो when you return this, when you go to this path operation, the time when you return it will automatically get updated into this. So this will become now time. So now that we have returned, right? All right, we got that much you got. All right, sir, great. And also assume that this guy has violated the time policy that we have. So this will be also in the file table. The transaction ID is 2. You can see 2 here. You will have a fine ID. You will have a fine ID and whatever it is. Let's say 201, and you will also have what amount and all of that other stuff. So what I'm thinking here, what I thought was, कि भाई you can simply go to the browser history, borrow history, sorry, browser history. You can simply go to the borrow history and say कि we can with a copy CID. What I'm expecting is a user should come with a CID, right? I'm trying to do with the most least resources possible, because the user just knows CID and is going to come to admin, and is going to come to admin, right? He's going to come to the admin. So this is he comes with CID max to max. He doesn't really have the PID and all that. So he won't have an account of PID. That's 100%. And this admin, he comes to the admin. How will the admin know the CID, PID of this copy? Uh, Maybe she will check the latest, transaction bit with the username, CID, username, right? You're getting my point. What happens is, okay, let's say Mahesh Babu comes with a copy with CID, with some CID, and you have the CID here. Whether he comes, though it has not been returned yet, he comes and he doesn't have any TID. We'll figure it out with using given CID. We'll see कि भाई जिसका return field नहीं है and the copy ID, this will get that role. So for example, there isn't this thing. So we'll figure this out. This is figured out by the admin. Great, so far so good. And after that, we will file this. This will become the now time, and this will happen. Now, if I were to add more fines, if I were to add more fines to this transaction itself, how will I identify the transaction? Is the key. How will I identify the transaction with just CID and user ID? That is gonna be a big problem, cause you can just simply say कि भाई जिस जो return नहीं है, जिसका ये वाला null है, जिसका ये वाला null है, वो दे दो. But that is not true. Cause we have just filed it, cause we have just said कि ये return हो चुका है. So now this has a now the written down has something inside it, so you can't really differentiate it with that condition anymore. So how will I differentiate this transaction? How will I get this TID? How will I get this TID from the CID and useless? That is the key. Now, as an admin, how will I get it? So one idea that I have now is to use user username, comma, the CID, and we'll get the latest transaction. We'll get the latest. So this has a problem of its own too. This has a problem कि भाई, I think the best thing that we can do right now is to add all the fines at the same time, cause after returning it we just have to see all the fines that there are. Cause what happens is if we automatically what happens is if we add it again using another path function, it would be difficult to first of all get to the transaction ID. Even if we get to the transaction ID, cause what I was saying is कि भाई सुनो, this username, the Mahesh Babu, with his copy too, after him returning the copy, uh, to get that to get to the transaction, what I was thinking ki, what is the latest transaction with copy ID 2, with 2 and Mahesh Babu, right? I was thinking कि say आज का दिन क्या है? आज 6/2026. So today Mahesh Babu has come and returned me the copy number 2, right? Good enough. And he has returned it. Now he had a fine, so that will get displayed. He had a late fine. All right, that's nice, that's good. But if I now have to add the manually the fine, the cover fine, then what happens is if I have to add it in another path function, what happens is, what if Mahesh Babu takes the same book again? Let's say there is no cover fine right now, but there is a cover fine after Uh, okay, that would be another transaction though. Wouldn't that be? That would be another transaction. So we can actually like, I guess there are I have clear picture of what's happening. See, we have two options. One is to add all the fines at one time, just to all add the fines at one time. Uh, all the fines that can be accumulated at a single time, or if we are writing uh, we are associating, I guess the first one is the better option, to be honest, is the best option. But the second one, even though it's a little doubtful, I'll write it. Using username and CID isolate the trans ID. But this has a problem. What is the problem that this has? इसका problem जो क्या होता है कि the problem with this is problem prob is कि um, it gives freedom to add fines whenever to admin, which is a bad thing because there might be a really bad admin that does this. कि भाई अभी ये चला गया, एक और ऐड कर देता हूँ. That would not be transparent. Let me explain this to ChatGPT. I'm gonna guess कि ChatGPT is gonna tell me the first solution is to add fines, all the fines at the same time. Hey, I want your advice on how I should deal with fine. Should I, you know, should I add all the fines, damage, cover? Because I don't think there can be thousands of different fines, right? At max, we can have cover damage, book damage. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I don't even have to say cover damage too as a different thing. I can just say ki bhai, damage is fine. Uh, damage cover, damage fine, and say cover damage at the time of uh, process return, or should I go with an other file, other path operation? Tell me, how should I do it? I'll split them fines into automatic and manual. Automatic fines during return. When a book is written, it's used if I'm already know before and written on. Yeah. Manual fines like through another route. Like that is what I thought. Ki bhai, water damage on pages, lost book cannot be detected automatically. A librarian must inspect the book. Yeah, that's what. Bro, let me explain ChatGPT a little more detail. All right, I thought of that, but say an user comes to you uh, with a copy, right? And you are the admin. And what happens is when he files for the return, we update the return and we update the return and what we update the return and find table with late fee. That's well and good, that's nice. But now to uh, track the transaction trans ID, what should one do? Cause you oh my god, why did I I have to edit the message. What should one do? We can't you use the user ID and CID in borrow history cause what if the admin forgets what what if admin what if user takes the book again. Now have that the trans ID latest is those specific condition latest and CID. So that gives me the reason for going with adding all the finds even if it's or like even if it's manual. We can use few params and keep none is equal to none so that if there ain't no violation can ignore. What do you say? Bro, this is a stupidly long prompt. ChatGPT is gonna yell at me. I see exactly what you're worried about, and I think you're very close to the right design. I mean, that's the basic thing ChatGPT is gonna say. Nah, bro, I still have no. Wait. All right. Your concern is after being after the written is processed, how do I know which trans ID to attach to my? Because later same user might borrow the same copy again. So it's not uniquely, that's a estimate. However, I still wouldn't put all the fines in the written route. The reason is you're mixing two separate operations. Return the book, this always happens. Of operation to inspect the book for damage. This may happen immediately or later. Instead, I would make the return endpoint this instead. I would make the return endpoint and return instead I'd make the return endpoint return the trans ID. and then using that he has to go. That said, for a small library system with one library and interface, your idea is actually practical. Then find active transaction. Uh-huh, 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 uh-huh. Create damage files if apply. Everything has to the same trans ID while you have already have. That avoids having to expose trans ID to the front end. Yeah, if there were a production system, I will separate them. For your cloud, probably go this, written book, calculated fee, optional find them. Because you already have the correct trans ID, you avoid an extra API. Or you avoid making the front end keep the track of trans ID. Yeah, the only thing I would change is don't make separate parameters for every damage type. Your bundling manual fine creation into written workflow is a reasonable design choice. Hey, keep all the design choices I make in this project in in your memory. Please. Let's see if ChatGPT does that. Updated, yes. Right, I am back from the break. Right now. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, this guy's like, hello. Can you hear? Yeah. I should get a mic, bro. My sound is bad. So where was I? Where was I? All right. Right. I said that. Just kind of fucking tiresome, to make all of this path of it. No, I thought I would finish it by yesterday, but these have become endless. In the next hour, I'll try to complete these path operation once and for all. After adding a file, I don't think I need any other thing, right? I don't need a function to delete the. I need something to update files, and that's it. We are good to go. We update the files. We are good to go. And maybe write some stupid path operations that are like really easy and shit. I just can't believe how many functions I've written, bro, so far. And I've also I have to go through that. चलो कोई बात नहीं. Okay, all right. Let's let us start. So I feel like if I am writing this, it is better to have. See, I will have one other file, one other file apart from late C file, which is damage file, right? So I don't want to write this. I don't want to hit this. So what I want to do is to go to borrow history, and I'm gonna do something right here. And I would say, what I would say is I would damage fine has to be like something like boolean, because if there is a damage, or else, you know what? Let's let us believe in the librarian, right? Let us just believe that he's an honest to god man, good man. So he's gonna have the authority to assign the amount of, assess the damage and give it an amount that has to be returned. So dam dam amount, the amount, dam amount is also an int. Dam amount is also an int, and had the damage made fine. So if any, right? So this can be int. Where is that? Okay. This can be int. This can be either int or none is none. Alright? This should make sense. What's wrong with this? Why am I getting squiggly lines, bro? And the only 9 for none for this too. Can't I have something like this? Let's ask ChatGPT. That is a really easy. Can't I have one of the both few params, oh my god, params as what? One of the few params as so one of the few params as none. Why is it giving me red lines, wiggly lines? Yes, you can have absolutely have it like that, but if you're getting a red line, it's usually because of type annotation thing. Okay, you must use. Let's name it as cover damage. Cover damage amount. The amount is fine. Damage amount. And the only so what I'll do is what to and the only this is the crop. Fix it by putting क्या क्या दिक्कत है? Regular Python's function parameter root. Okay. FastAPI. All right. And the problem is optional parameter. The amount is none. Required parameter CID is. Python does not allow a parameter without a default value to come after. Oh my god, this stupid fucking reason in Python. Bhai saab. Alright, let me just control X this thing. Now paste it right here. It should make sense now. Alright, bro, everything I do, everything I touch. How will I fix this? If there is any damage, fine. How would I know if there is a damage? Alright, there is a D amount. I want you to do something. I want you to make an object F1 which is models that fine fine trans ID और this amount amount क्या कितना हुआ ये amount से equal हो जाएगा है ना और reason damn age damage is the reason and For the love of God, I want him to return F1 was the one time. On the only man. Borrow history में अभी यार. So let me make another record in borrow history. Another record in borrow history. Yeah, another record. Let me do it. So this borrow history. Where is that? Borrow book. All right. CID. Let's say copy. Let's see all the books. Get books. Get all books. Let's see all the books that are available. 7, 8. I can get 8. Issue ID. Who can take the book? Get users. Mahesh Babu. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7. That's a 7 took a book. Make this. Alright. This is there. And this guy has filer written, let's say. Let's rename this. No, no, no. I want to rename. Rename this. File written. CID. Do we need the CID? Of course, we need the CID. Huh? What is the CID? चलो इसमें देखते हैं. Borrow history. Let's read. The copy ID is 8. All right. The ID is 8 now. And the other thing, the amount which is also an integer should be say 50. Hmm. Hmm. So I am going to send this and see what will get find. Trans ID, alright, 5. The amount is this. Alright, let me see the table. Check this works. Ah, there we go. That's thank God, thank God, thank God. It's alright. There is a problem in this though. Why is it filing it as late return? What the fuck? Can we doing that? Is it a late return? Why is okay? Okay. Same old mistake, Aravind, huh? You dumb motherfucker. So freaking stupid, dude. I have to do it all over again. Okay, I can do one thing. I can do one thing. I can just delete this and I can save changes. I can go to the borrow history and we delete and save the change, and I'll go back and borrow book. Yes, I'm gonna borrow book. All right, all right. I have now borrowed a book. Late fee fine. File return the amount of this, and what this should. Let's see what this internal. Thank God. Thank God. Is not persistent with this session. What is not persistent? Invalid request error. All right. I ignore. Wait, I can't even read this fucking error, dude. I guess I have to ask ChatGPT, man. I've never seen this error. Let's go. Let's ask ChatGPT. Help me with this. The important line is this. This happens. db.refresh. Refresh only works on an object that has been persisted. Bro, you said you don't have to add stop dot add this. Hmm. Thunder only. भाई क्या हो रहा है मेरा भाई भाई क्या हो रहा है भाई भाई क्या हो रहा है भाई ओके ये रिटर्न हो चुका है let me delete this let me delete this now I have deleted it if I do this it should give me hmm okay I am doing something wrong let me delete this again what I'm doing is first off I'm not borrowing it bro why am I okay let me borrow a book I'll go and borrow I have borrowed let me check the table yes now I'll go to file my return I'll see yes thank god damage all right now I want to send just a message return file along with fine that makes sense now let me see my find table just to feel happy oh 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 what the fuck why did it not get added up somewhere on this chalo let me do another one just to check if this is working or not hmm must say borrow a book okay come on I don't know how to close this bro fucking hate it thunder on the borrow a book uh borrow estimate again let's let's borrow a book let me get all the users let me get users first और let's just see 8 1 17 के अलावा कुछ भी ले सकता हूँ get all book what have I got I'll take the 11th one right I'll take the 11th one borrow a book इसमें 11 डाल देता हूँ 137 के अलावा कोई भी ले सकता है book get users I'll see I can take a book Rambabu can have a book I'm sorry 11 and 5 actually you know what even 7 can have a book right because a user can have multiple books there is no problem in that let's say Shanti is going to have another book right let me send there you go and if I try to refresh this even though we don't have a return on that's good let me file a return and I must say what is the CID copy is 11 and the T amount is 50 and I must send this written along with fine, and I will see there. Mm, mm, mm. Take a script. All right. Right. That makes sense now. I should take a break now. But my brain is kind of cooked. It is too hot. And after this, you know what I'll do. So I have whatever I'll kind of write a note on what I've done so far, the choices that I've thoughts that I've gone through, because that is the thing, right? I have to do document stuff, document things I have to go through, and okay, just like end